Ain't no time to waste on a paper chase. She say this her cut like a taper fade. I'm the bomb grenade.
This is After Hours Live for the Man Cave. This is your host, Tay Wiggs.
And this your co-host, Mark Senior.
And we back at it again. We're going to have Marcus started off with the NBA Finals. First and foremost, what you got, Mark?
So the NBA Finals is here, finally. It's not, it took a long time. It seemed like a million injuries to get here.
Wow.
You know, we got Chris Paul, a favorite of the After Hours Live from Man Cave podcast.
Yes, sir.
The Suns versus the Bucks.
Mm.
And in game one, it looked like, you know, in the Valley is going to, you know, kind of walk away with this finals. I don't know if they're going to sweep, but it surely is going to be easy. So who from the Phoenix Suns will take the finals MVP? Is it going to be Book, or is it going to be Chris Paul, 16-year veteran, first-time finals appearance, point guard, finals MVP?
As the point guard CP3, this is my order right now. As if the MVP would have happened, top 5 coming in number 5. I'm gonna say Giannis Antetokounmpo. Number 4, Chris Middleton. Number 3, Devin Booker. Number 2, Chris Paul. Number 1, DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre. I can't even argue with that. He's been he almost had a 2020 game. Chris Paul, you know, took it away from him.
historical numbers. But that can change. But you know, but realistically though, that's just my opinion. But realistically, just looking at it from that standpoint, the MVP right now in the NBA Finals is like Chris Paul. Without Chris Paul, that team would be a different team going down the stretch, especially close out games in certain situations. Just to know you have a true veteran point guard on your team, and Chris Paul, you know, he's the guy. He's like a LeBron James for the Phoenix Suns. He's the anchor out there, the captain, and he lines everybody up for the right shots and put them in the right spot on the floor, period. One thing I do like about Chris Paul, he holds everybody accountable for what they do on the floor. And I've seen Devin Booker start to take up that role too, and that his teammates know. How do you feel?
I think for sure, especially when the few games Chris Paul was out last series against the Clippers. Devin, you know, Book kind of took things under control that game one of that series. He was like the stepping in Chris Paul. You know, he was running the offense. He really wasn't trying to be as aggressive as he normally was. And he was holding guys accountable, especially, you know, number 1 on your list for MVP, DeAndre Ayton. Just trying to make sure he play big and stay playing big, you know, which is the reason why he's, you know, getting all these numbers.
Right.
Those two guys, you know, making sure he play up to his ability.
And two, one thing I'm gonna say about the Phoenix Suns, man, it starts from the ownership finally got it right. Because, you know, we heard previous times throughout the season a couple of years ago, Charles Barkley been ranting about the Phoenix Suns. Maybe it's time for ownership and stuff like that. Just to know that what's going on between, you got the GM of the year, you know, James Jones, another African-American face, you know, champ. Then you got your coach, Monty Williams, you know, who lost his wife a couple of seasons ago, you know. Then just to turn back around to get back into it, to coach this team, you know, last year they went 8-0 on the bubble, but they still was missing something. Chris Paul came here and made sure that they don't lose focus of where they was going. Just to know to have a young gun on the side of you with a Devin Booker and a DeAndre Ayton. It makes the game just much easier for, like I said, Chris Paul, like we said before, Marcus, he get all his centers paid. And right now, the auditions he played with, this is like the best one in the bunch. As you heard throughout this series so far,
too.
The youngest, and he's playing with that grit. He said he want to learn, which a lot of players that come in the league his age don't want to learn. They feel like they know it all.
Right.
And which, you know, other game, before you become an actual player, you are a student first. When you become a student and still learn the game as you play, That makes the game much easier for you. You understand your role. You know where you at on the floor. You know you can hold certain players accountable and yourself as well. That's why I said it was a match made in heaven for Chris Paul to go to Phoenix to team up with Monty Williams of this young team. I mean, yes, they lost Dario Saric with a torn ACL right now. It's just right now next man up for the Phoenix Suns. And right now, you look at as what we've seen in game one. We knew Giannis was questionable as you going into game one, as they won that game right there. Giannis tried to do everything he could. The one thing I'm gonna say, Marcus, you probably seen it too. He gets to that free throw line. He gets a little bit timid.
Especially when they start counting. He definitely do.
Yeah. Hey, they keep counting. He goes to the free throw line. He's splitting. Milwaukee don't have a chance. I mean, I don't know what I've been seeing so far on the floor. I'm trying to figure out what Mike Budenholzer is doing, having Brook Lopez guarding Chris Paul.
Learned his lesson from the last series from him trying to guard Trae Young.
There's nothing you really can do with Chris Paul. Chris Paul knows to get to that cup. He know how to get certain things to go his way, especially he break the referees early. That's what he does. Like you say, he's charged the Players Association, the PA, whatever, and stuff like that. Chris Paul getting the job done. What do you take away from game one for Phoenix and also game one for the Milwaukee Bucks?
So from Phoenix, I mean, I think just to continue to put the ball in Chris Paul hands,
right,
and kind of let him, like you said, manipulate and work the other team, because he's going to figure out even faster than some of the coaching staff what Milwaukee's trying to do defensively, especially in the pick and roll where he just been chewing them up. So I think they need to continue, can keep doing stuff. There's no need to make an adjustment quite yet. Just keep doing what works until it don't work no more. With Bucks, I think they got a good understanding of how healthy Giannis was. Like he was pretty healthy, just was maybe a little bit out of shape. So they're going to have to get him more established in the offense later in the game. I think early in the game, they kind of was testing him out, and he proved them like he was all right. But later in the game, he got tired and he kind of went away. And that's going to put more pressure on Middleton, who kind of been stepping up. But I think the real focus for the Bucks, it needs to be Drew Holiday.
Right.
He has to stay on Chris Paul. Like Brook Lopez, PJ Tucker, they can't guard Chris Paul. If it's a pick and roll, it gotta fight through it if Drew Holiday is guarding Chris Paul. I mean, he's had tough assignments. Yeah, Kyrie, Trae Young, I forget who else, but he's got to take that personal. Like this is my man. He got to score too, so he has a lot on his plate. Like they brought him in just for this sole purpose of getting to the championship and producing both ends.
Yeah, I got you brought up with PJ Tucker. Man, he cannot hit the side three for nothing. It's the shortest 3-point shot on the floor. So, that's my favorite spot. I'm money for Harrison. They leaving him open, like I said, the king of the shoe game. He got more shoes and he got career points. I'm not throwing shots, but it's just speaking facts. There's so much you can do. Use all your energy on the defensive end. Then you got to come on the opposite end and score. We know PJ Tucker game is not predicated around scoring, but you do have to find other ways to be effective in the game. We know he plays defense, but you got to get a quick layup, something like that, because his threes is not falling. Like I said, what hurt them the worst. I mean, what hurt them the most about going into this NBA Finals? They don't have that energy guy, Dante DiVincenzo. So now you asking Pat Connaughton to step up more and play more defensive, be on the defensive end, and exactly be a scorer. So you had Dante DiVincenzo in there. It makes the game that much even flow. Like you said, going into these playoffs this year, the injuries it's been devastating going through each round with key guys going out. Not only superstars, but key role guys. And as in this series right now, Phoenix lost a key role guy due to the torn ACL, Dario Saric. Somebody can rebound, stretch the floor, hit threes. Now you lose Dante DiVincenzo been out. I think early is the second round. So you're looking at him. You got to find it's the next man up. Who will it be for the Milwaukee Bucks? Like you said, you see Drew Holiday to be more assertive, playing more aggressive. Maybe we see a more aggressive Giannis Antetokounmpo. But the one thing I did like what the Phoenix Suns did, they held Chris Middleton in check in the third quarter. That's his bread and butter, man. The third quarter.
Quarter.
So,
Last series, he went nuts. That's the only reason why they're there is because he went
Right.
nuts in the third quarters.
right. Now we got game 2 tonight, Marcus. Still in Phoenix. You know, they got the famous guy going around. You know, Devin Booker sent the guy a jersey, said Suns in 4. Now, if Phoenix keep playing like this, we still haven't seen that breakout game yet from D Book. How many points you think Devin Booker gonna put up tonight?
It depends on which car he rides to the stadium with.
Ooh.
If he in the old school, I think he gonna give a cool 25.
Right.
And something new. He gonna try to light it up. He gonna go for 40. So it
Well, I
depends
think-
on what car he roll in.
If he come into Grand National, like what Denzel had in training day, man, look out, folks. Devin Booker might drop 40.
Right.
Devin Booker might go for 40 tonight. If he goes for 40 tonight, it's gonna be crazy. And Jay Crowder got to score 2 as well. He got to step up too because everybody else been playing lights out. The Cam Johnsons, especially was Campaign still playing at a high
Miles
level.
Bridges.
Oh yeah, Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges' cousin. So I knew who you meant, but those the other guys, those guys who be keeping it up right now. I'm gonna still say this: if Milwaukee loses this series, Budenholzer might be the first coach ever in NBA history to get fired after an NBA Finals appearance.
Yeah, that's true. I was about to say the Toronto Raptors, he got coach of the year, and then he went to Detroit. I can't think of his name right now, but he didn't make it to the
Dwayne
finals.
Casey.
Casey, he didn't make it to the finals. So I think you may be right. I think you may be right.
So Budenholzer is actually coaching for his life right now. Yeah, we know you got them there, but it's gonna be some time now. No, moving along as we move away from the NBA Finals and all that jazz. James Harden and the rapper Little Baby was detained by police at I want to say was it Paris or France for Fashion Week for possession of marijuana. So, what you got to say about that, Marcus?
I mean, who was in possession of it? Was it Little Baby's entourage or was it James Harden?
Well, reading the article, they said they detained what's his name first, Little Baby. Then because James Harden's with him, he got detained too. But as you told me before we jumped on air, they both been released. So now you know.
Yeah, it's a lot going on with the as Stephen A. say, with the weed in the media for sports lately. So I really don't think too much of it. You got to know the law when you're traveling abroad. I know it's getting legalized here in the States, especially in the States they probably frequent, like on the West Coast. So you just got to be careful. Paris, France ain't that bad of a spot to get detained. I mean, it ain't the best, but it's not like some third world country. So I think they kind of got lucky because of their fame and notoriety and it being Fashion Week. They kind of let them off easy. But that could have went real bad if had it been anywhere else in the world.
Right. For Little Baby, well, for James Harden, that was a. The reason I did that because first it's like he had a good, okay season. I can't say it was a great season. It's not a great season unless you win a championship. He had an okay season. First the injury, drinking the smoothie that the team made for him. Like he was already on vacation, sipping, like I said, drinking like his strawberry banana smoothie, like they already won a championship. They was counting their chickens before they hatch. Third, you in France smoking weed. If you could smoke weed, you should have played down the stretch when the team needs you the most. I mean, these are the things you have to do as an adult. As you being a public figure, someone of high stature, you should know what the limitation was. You should know, like, damn, man,
Can't be caught slipping like that.
man, you got caught all the way slipping. James Harden, that's a shame on you, man. I just can't believe that you did that once again. That was an epic fail
Epic fail.
because I'm thinking, like, dude, what makes you come on, little baby? We know he do that, but for James Harden to get spotted, I thought he was cool with Travis Scott. I mean, what's going on here? It was like James Harden hanging on all the rappers, and within a week time span. First it was Travis Scott, then he was with Meek Mill a couple of nights ago. Now he in with a little baby. Like,
Hey,
James Harden, are you trying to tell me you don't want to be a basketball player? No, you trying to be a rapper now?
he globe tried.
Facts. So I see that for somebody like James Harden. As we move on to the next topic, James Harden, you get the. So moving along right to the NBA, we're gonna still be in the NBA for a minute. Right now, Team USA tryouts. They picked their team. I think Jalen Rose came out and said that Kevin Love only made a team because they needed a white person or a Caucasian face on the team. How did you feel about those comments?
I watched the live that Jalen released. After that, stepping those, that statement back. But that's really just not it's just not the case. I think Kevin Love is like the second white dude to make the team since John Stockton.
Right.
So they the USA ain't trying to get a white dude on the team every year. There's been some years where there's no white dudes at all. However, I think what he was trying to say is, what has Kevin Love done since LeBron left Cleveland?
Right.
To justify him being on the team. And I would say, as a Cavs fan, not much, if nothing at all.
And two, what make Jalen Rose say a statement like that? His counterpart is Caucasian. Mm-hmm. So when he made that statement, I thought it was just stupid. Because if that was the case, Jalen Rose, why are you up there with Jacoby? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, if you want to speak facts, I mean, facts are facts. You can't come out and say nothing idiotic like that. I get what he was saying, like you said, Morgan. I get what he's saying, but he shouldn't have said the color part. Hey, Kevin Love should not have been a part or participating in Team USA men's basketball because he hasn't done anything in the last 2 or 3 years. That'd have been more acceptable.
Right.
So that's where he went wrong at. And before you say something, premeditated, make sure it sound right before you do it on live air. Because now we get into the part where, I'm gonna be honest with you, Marcus. We get into the part where now everybody's want to be racist and colorblind and all this stuff.
Right.
I'm thinking people nowadays are getting soft. It's a little softness going on around here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
With that, then you got as we move to that from that subject, we go into let's go right along in this subject. You got what's her name? Malika, not Malika. You got Malika Andrews. Calling
Rachel Nichols.
And
then it's another female
Maria.
black reporter.
I think her name Maria.
Maria Edwards.
Maria Andrews, something like that. I know it's one.
Andrews. It's either Andrew. It's Edwards, I think. Let me look it up.
Because I'm
Maria
looking at
Taylor.
That.
It's Maria Taylor.
Maria Taylor. She called a couple of the Big Ten games and stuff like that. I think Nick Saban said something to her crazy, and he offended her too, just because she's doing her job. Now, watching this type of stuff that's going on, I'm pretty much sure we all said something crazy, not on tape or whatever, in our own comfort, of our home.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you just feel like because Rachel Nichols been doing it for so long that people just feel like they will see a new face?
So I listened to the
Jump
record I went to the jump and the recording that was released.
Uh-huh.
If I was honest, I don't think she really said, Rachel Nichols, that is, said anything too wrong. I mean, it just had a bad appearance because she's a white female commentator talking about a black female commentator. But what she was stating is like ESPN has a bad rep for diversity as it is with females in particular and black commentators as well. All she was saying is, hey, if you got to make room for them. Don't take off my plate to feed somebody else. And that's anybody would have that same standard.
Have a job, exactly.
Right.
So
take my food away to feed somebody else. So,
and the one thing too, we know Rachel Nichols didn't put in time. She put in time, like, to get where she was at. I understand that. I don't care how people feel. How they feel about how I'm saying this. If you've been in the job for so long doing paperwork, you finally got notice of doing something else, you got moved up the ranks, and you keep moving up the ranks, and you working hard at what you do. And let's be honest, we trying to join these ranks, and we started from ground zero. And you got to realize, she started what she did. She went to Northwestern, went to school and did all the broadcasting stuff and things like that. And you're looking at for somebody who actually got that time due to work it up. Some of these females feel like, and guys, just because you've been on TV a couple of times and you did that you should just automatically get into the driver's seat. Don't work like that. So when your time comes, and I see they move Rachel Nichols off from the NBA Finals and got Maria Taylor calling it, and what's her name, Malika Andrews. So you got those two. No shade, I'm happy that it's two African American women up there. But we just can't keep throwing around color as it's going to solve anything. I mean, you got to work hard like she did. I mean, she put in 15, 20 years in to get where she at. You talk about people we just seen within the last 4 or 5 years. So
I would feel differently about it if she was a white man saying it, but she's a female commentator in sports, which is like she's a minority too, even though she's white.
She's a female. You don't see too many females. When you think about the last female that people actually seen on TV doing NBA Finals was Hannah Storm. So that's how I look at it. So you're looking at other people who used to be at ESPN, from the Carrying Champions. Jamil Hill put y'all on games. She used to write for the Cleveland Plain Dealer in the sports page. Chris Hayes used to write for the Cleveland Plain Dealer in the sports page. So these type of people I've been following, I've been watching they work forever since they've been in Cleveland. Chris Hayes being from California and Jamil Hill, she's from Detroit. So for them people to come from where they from to come to Cleveland to write about our sports teams, then go in their profession at ESPN. Those guys put in their work to where they be at. And not saying not Malika Andrews, Maria Taylor didn't put the work in. They did put the work in to get to that level. But their time is coming. I think their time is now. I just the way how it's crazy how it ended. I just feel bad for both parties because it looked bad to me on both sides. So that's how I feel. How you feel about it?
I'm with you. I don't think there's no right answer to that. Like I can see both ways. We definitely want the Maria Taylors, Malika Andrews to get that spotlight to do the finals.
Right.
But Rachel Nichols, like you said, is somebody we've seen over the years kind of work her way up to where she's at. I don't think anything would, we don't work for ESPN. We don't know. I don't think anything has been handed to her without, credentials of getting the opportunities.
So right to that. So moving along from that, the Team USA men's basketball team. No, I'm going back to that. Still want to talk about that. You look at that roster, to be honest with you, from the Kevin Love, Kevin Durant, Bam Adebayo, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine. We can keep going. I mean, it's all type of stars on this team. Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see this Team USA finishing?
mean, they got KD, Brad Beal.
Mm-hmm.
I think Buck's supposed to end up joining them. This is over.
Right.
Those three guys alone, you add on Draymond, they should win gold. If there is professional players on our team, we should always win gold. It should never be a reason why we don't. There's other teams out there that got professional players on their team. Canada is a prime example. They got a lot of NBA players on their team too.
Yeah, the RJ Barrett, the Tristan Thompsons, and all them guys, Andrew Wiggins.
Like that's and that's just adjacent, the neighbor state, up north state, country, not state, country from us. So even with all those guys on that team, none of them compared to Kevin Durant. Just him by himself. We got Kevin Durant. We should win gold.
Yeah, I like that too. Speaking of U.S., no, I ain't gonna say USA, but let's talk about real basketball in the Olympics. Period. Olympic basketball. Comment came down that Luka Doncic said winning the gold medal for his country is more than the NBA trophy. How would you take that if that's the leader in the face of your NBA franchise?
I mean, if I'm Mark Cuban, I feel some type of way about it. However, he's actually factual. Like winning the gold medal in the Olympics will be far more harder for Slovenia, wherever he's from, than the Dallas Mavericks winning the title. We've seen the Dallas Mavericks win the NBA championship with one superstar, Dirk Nowitzki, a foreign superstar. It's almost the exact same situation. Have we ever seen Slovenia win a gold medal? I'm gonna have to fact check, but I doubt it.
That's a zero.
Right.
It's pretty right. And two, speaking of that, speaking of the NBA, we know Brad Stevens hired a head coach for the Boston Celtics. And we talked about it before, how everything went down with the Boston Celtics, how Brad Stevens moved right into the driver's seat as the GM of the Boston Celtics. Without winning a championship title, which is weird just because just be been there so long and what they did. When you're looking at that type of news for the Boston Celtics, his name I know he's married to Nia Long. I know he's been on the Spurs coaching staff. Ime Udoka, that is the coach of the Boston Celtics. Do you feel like let's be honest, do you feel like the Boston Celtics made that as a PR move?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
The reason I'm gonna say no is because he was up for a lot of other head coaching jobs this past season. The Cavs being one of them. He was high on everybody's list. So I think he has been deemed like the next coach to get from the Spurs staff. They always got somebody. And so I'm gonna take that back just a little bit. So I think he was probably the best coach for the job, but it also was a plus that he was a black dude and it looked good for PR. I think it was a win-win. He was a black guy and he has a talent to be the next best coach of the league.
We're going to see what he's going to do with this team. Now, if let's say hypothetically,
I didn't know he was married to Nia Long though. That was new to me.
I got them gems. When you look at this coach right here, like I said, he's been on a lot of coaching staffs. When you look at him as being the Celtics coach, now say hypothetically he gets the NBA championship. Would that make Brad Stevens a genius, or would that make Mr. Udoka a good coach?
I think it makes him a good coach, but I think people will, as they always have done since Brad got in the league, sing Brad praises, even though he just hired it's like drafted LeBron James as the number one pick. Like, who else was you going to pick?
Right.
I'm not saying like he's the LeBron James of the coaches, but it's like he's a damn good coach. Like, you don't got to be too smart to make that decision.
Let's talk about other guys who I think should be coaches right now in the league. Darvin Ham, remember him?
Oh yeah.
High energy guy off the bench, especially he's well known to play for the Milwaukee Bucks.
PJ
Um,
Tucker before PJ
oh yeah,
Tucker.
Darvin Ham, been an assistant coach for so long. Why hasn't he got calls to be a head coach of an NBA basketball team?
um, I just think he ain't been put into what they call like the hype cycle. You know, you don't hear his name too much. We know him, because we basketball heads, but his name ain't put out there a lot. Like the as I gave that example, the Spurs, like everybody on their coaching staff get some type of hype from Budenholzer to Ime Udoka, the female coach they got on staff. Can't think of her name right now, but they all get put in the media in some form or fashion. And Darvin Ham just haven't had it.
Did you know that Darvin Ham was part of the 1996 NBA draft? That's the greatest NBA draft class in NBA history.
Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Steve. I mean, yeah.
So you're looking at that. That's a good look for the Boston Celtics to get somebody that's been around the game that understands the game, which I think is great too as well. So going along, moving right along, still in the NBA, Damian Lillard put out there that he wants out of Portland. So if he wants out of Portland, does Portland
Wait,
load
he said that? Breaking news again.
So, he's in the news again. Him and Dame, him and LeBron talking to each other. You already know when LeBron go like this and start talking, that means it's business. It's business.
Sure, he's in Space Jam.
And recruitment. If you know certain players that's in that movie, LeBron James either recruiting them or they're part of his agent camp. So you're looking at Draymond Green, right?
Right.
They talk a lot. He been in the shop a lot. Anthony Davis is part of Clutch Sports. You're looking at that. You got Klay Thompson, who will probably be eligible to be a free agent after next season. Could you see him or Steph leaving the Bay Area? Well, they don't play in the Bay. We're leaving San Francisco to play in LA.
I don't think. I mean, Dame maybe just because he's just been unfortunate not to have success. But Steph and Draymond, they're gonna be Warriors until
ends of time.
Yeah, and Draymond is the only one that could possibly leave. But Steph ain't going nowhere. I think he's gonna retire.
You think he's gonna retire as a Warrior?
Yeah. Or he may do like the end of his career. He may play in Charlotte. I think I can see that. That's his home state. But other than that, I don't see it happening. Dame is a possibility. I don't see Draymond.
All right, it's another rumor going around there that the Brooklyn Nets may be shopping Kyrie Irving, DeMar DeRozan, may head to LA, playing for the Lakers. And the whole thing people want to know too, Marcus, we talk about Kyrie Irving and DeMar DeRozan may be on the move. But the one move that nobody's not talking about is Kawhi Leonard. He's the mystery man. He's a free agent. Where could he land?
I think he's gonna stay a Clipper.
You think so?
He's really, when he was a free agent the first time around, he made it clear he didn't want to play with LeBron. So the Lakers is just out the picture. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't see too many other places where he can. I mean, he can go anywhere, but it's just tough to see him go to a team that's not as good as the Clippers and have a chance at winning a championship.
It's two teams I can see him going to. One being the Eastern team and one being the Western Conference team. The Eastern team I can see him playing for Eric Spoelstra at Miami Heat. Fit. That'd be a great fit. Iguodala's on the down end of his career. He had a stellar career. Another team I thought he'd be a great fit for would be the Dallas Mavericks. The team. If they get rid of Kristaps Porzingis, which I think they're going to shop on draft night.
Absolutely, that's going to happen.
Him and Luka don't get along, but if you can move that piece to move him and probably get you a Kemba Walker, Because right now, Kemba Walker knees are pretty much shot. I don't want to be talking like I'm about to mess his contract up, but I'm not with Kemba Walker. But I know just watching the game and watching him in Charlotte, playing those heavy minutes can lead to heavy injuries. I feel like he was me personally just watching him play in Boston because by me from Cleveland but living in Charlotte, he was a fan favorite. Kemba Walker plays hard every night. Somebody play hard every night not to playoffs. It's kind of odd because you play all right. We didn't make the playoffs, but you still signed the contracts to play in Charlotte. That lets you know he's loyal to the soil. But say if Dallas do sign him, that'd be a great pickup for the Dallas Mavericks to go along with Luka. He can handle the ball and be a real floor general. And, he can hit clutch shots. But I feel like he was playing out of sync and out of rhythm and on the same page as the Boston Celtics when he was there in Boston. So, even though he got traded to OKC, he may get moved again on draft night. It's a lot. It's a lot going on in the NBA. The NBA got a new logo for their 75th anniversary. It's a diamond-shaped logo as well.
Okay.
We're gonna
Is
see.
it's similar to what they did for the 50th?
It's almost like the 75th anniversary logo, like the NFL. It's like pretty much they got the silhouette of the
7 and 5 fit in there.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of people don't know who the silhouette person is. It's actually Jerry West. Jerry West is actually the logo of the NBA. So I'm looking at that. Saw things going on. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna go back to the Olympics. We got Sha'Carri Richardson, the track athlete. Burning people. Burning people, and she was smoking burners. AKA the weed. Stephen A. Smith, stay off the weed. When you're looking at someone like her, Nike's going to back her up. Now, her biological mother passed away. Different people deal with pain differently from others. When you're looking at an athlete like that, this is a one-in-a-lifetime chance type of thing, When you're looking at her running track and, she smoked weed, she knew all the tests that he was going to take. Marcus, when you first seen her, how did you feel about her being suspended for 30 days, then being kicked off the Olympics period?
It was unfortunate. I did. When they said it was weed, I'm like, dang, I was just amazed that she was able to smoke and run that fast for one. Typically those two don't go together. Right. And then, after everything came out, she took responsibility and said she smoked. She knew the consequences. So I was happy to see that, she wasn't shying away from it. And then, back to our similar situation, we talk about James Harden, Lil Baby. Weed is becoming legal in most parts of the United States. So it's like people are profiting off of, the selling and purchasing of marijuana. So it's just real weird because that she got suspended for that, and it doesn't give her any competitive advantage. If anything, it hurts her more than it helps her. But at the same time, she knew the rules. She knew what the consequences was going to be. And, someone similar in a similar predicament was Michael Phelps.
Thank you.
And he caught a lot of backlash from when he did it. It wasn't like because she black, she getting all this. No, when Michael Phelps spoke, it was a big deal. I don't know if everybody knows, but it was a big deal, and it was really on him. And he was battling depression and all that stuff. So it's like she knew the rules. She probably shouldn't have did it. To with Stephen A. point, like we just said, always say, you don't risk something like that with smoking weed. You can go to the Olympics, come back smoking weed. I mean, it's not going to be gone. It's not a rare commodity.
No, it's just, let's be honest. When you're an African American athlete in America, or just African American male, female, and the one thing my wife said is so true. A Caucasian person will come up and say to your kids if they under 10, you got a beautiful family. Oh, your son, he's so cute, he's so precious. Oh, your daughter, she's so precious, she's so cute. You're cute when you're a kid. But as soon as you turn 18, this is real facts. As soon as you turn 18, they label us as men in society.
Mhm.
So when you get
Yeah,
this
that's true.
opportunity and a chance, you got one shot at life. And for us, we can't mess up one time. And everything we got to do when we go to work, if you go to work, I'm gonna be the fastest typer I can. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna sit there and do your work. Whatever you do at work, you always try to be the best at because we get scoped a little bit different in the human eyesight. It's just a little bit different. Unfortunate for her. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first heard it, I was pissed off. Like, damn, why should you do that? Then the first thing, like you said, you hit on the head. The second thing, I mean, I was talking about saying, y'all remember Michael Phelps is swimming and smoking weed? It was like I said, he got crucified. They didn't kick him off the team.
He got
Then what?
suspended. He got like the thing about that. I want to add to that is he didn't even test. She tested positive for weed. He didn't even test positive. He was just seen in a picture, and he
Right,
did get he got suspended too.
right.
He
But the
didn't get
whole
kicked off the
thing,
team, but he got suspended too.
but the whole thing is too. When you athlete like her, coming from where she's from California and stuff like that, grandma raised her and all that jazz. A person like her, I believe she'd be back for the Olympics. I think the Olympics be here in America. I think either in California or somewhere. I think that would be this is 2021, so that's 2024, I believe. 2024 Olympics. You just realize too, the age that she is. She's 21 years old. So if she run again, she may be 24 going on 25. And I feel like she was a crowd favorite, a fan favorite. You know, the Olympics, everybody tuned into the Olympics. I don't think that track and field coming from her running that 100 relay, the 100 meters and 200, and she do the 400. So it's not going to have that same feel because we know the Canadians is pretty much not the Canadians, excuse me, the Jamaican women track team is no joke. I thought that was going to be one of the epic battles that we get to see. So therefore, we don't get to see that. We know they got Alex and Felix on the track team. She's a little older and stuff like that. But to have a young leg to be the end of the anchor to finish it off, that'd have been fabulous right there going down the heat of the stretch. And you should know your daughter's run track, so you already know that's a different feel too, because you can actually tell kids, look, this is what you don't do. We, like I said before, Maurice, we get microscoped a little different when it comes to things.
Fair or unfair? But
Yeah.
you're right. You're spot on with that.
Moving along right now, the NFL right now, not this year, but next coming season, the NFL is having alternate helmets. With these 30, I want to say 31, 32 teams in the NFL, which helmet would you be if you had? I pick your top 5 helmets that what you would love to see in a different type of scheme in your top 5. No random order, but your favorite 5 teams, color schemes you like in the NFL.
I would say the Houston. I mean, I don't like these teams. I just like their color scheme, their jerseys. The Houston Texans, the Jaguars,
Okay.
Browns.
Okay.
I think that the brown and orange is you can do wonders with that if you do it right. Who else? The Chargers and who would be the fifth? Who would be the fifth? And I'm gonna go with the Oakland Raiders.
Ooh, that's
The
silver.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh, that's silver and black though.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. My top. I ain't gonna say my top 5. I'm gonna say top. Well, yeah, 5 teams. I would love to see. I'm eager to see what the Panthers are gonna do with their helmets. Gonna live here. Of course, the Cleveland Browns. That's always the hometown team. The San Francisco 49ers with that gold. Is it gonna make it more of a mirror goal? Another team. Color wise, I want to see what they're gonna do with the Seahawks helmet because they come with crazy colors with that neon green.
Yeah, they do.
And then last but not least, Oh, this is a tough one. Almost, I definitely want to see what they're going to do. I want to see what the Tennessee Titans helmet might look like because they got that Carolina Blue too as well. What they gonna do
Mhm.
with them low? Like you said, Jackson. Hey, Marcus, that Jacksonville Jaguars though, like a concept helmet keep floating around. If you go look up concept helmets on Instagram, the Jaguars got like this gold helmet, but it's like mirror. It's like that. It's their colors though. It looks sweet, but a Browns helmet, a white Browns helmet with a gray face cage. We don't know, man. Something's going to shake in the near future with these
Absolutely.
helmets. Now, before we leave, Spencer Dinwiddie said he want the bag.
Uh, as he should.
He preferred to play it for one of the
Yeah.
LA teams, Clippers or the Lakers, to go back home. But I think he preferred the Lakers, to be honest with you. Now, if they say the Lakers get Spencer Dinwiddie, that's a huge upgrade from
Mhm.
Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder, Instagram, no Laker content. Kyle Kuzma definitely has no Laker content. Uh, we're going to see. Like I said, I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen in the coming weeks. See, will the Cavaliers move a Colin Sexton? Hey, this even though this draft, this might be a great draft for certain teams, but the superstars are really not. We won't be free agents next year. There's the main superstars, but these are right here are pieces to help you get over the hump or to make it to the next level or to be a championship caliber type team. So where you may think that Colin Sexton may go.
If he get traded, I think he either gonna get traded to move up in the draft. So think about Detroit
Mm,
and who's number two? Houston.
mm-hmm,
Um, if he not going, if not, that's not gonna happen, then you gotta think about the Philadelphia 76ers and Ben Simmons.
mm-hmm,
As I said on a previous pod, Clutch has tight ties with the Cavs.
mm-hmm,
Darius Garland is already there. He's a clutch guy. Him
mm-hmm.
and Ben Simmons, they probably be a good pairing together. And Colin Sexton is really what Philadelphia need. They need a
Yeah,
guy who's not afraid and he's gonna go out, balls to the wall every possession.
right.
Besides that, then you got the Dame situation.
Mm,
He could be used as a three teamer to
mm,
get him to a team like the Lakers uh, or even Philadelphia. Like Ben Simmons may not come to the Cavs, but he may go to somewhere like Portland. And Colin Sexton may go to Portland, and then Dame come to Philly. I think those three teams. Well, I think that's four teams: Detroit, Houston. Well, actually, not Houston. I'm gonna take Houston away. I think the Cavs will get the number one pick if they trade Colin. They will want the number one pick, not get. So Detroit, Philly, Portland. Those three teams, I think, is be in the mix with Colin Sexton.
right. Young bull. Watching his Instagram, been working out hard. Just keep in mind, this is After Hours Live from Man Cave. I'm the host, Mark Tay Wiggs, along with my co-host Mark Senior. We're sitting down discussing NBA trades, the NBA finals, and that nature. And first and foremost, the NBA free agency beginning August 3rd at 5 p.m. Central Time. So you're looking at that pretty much 8 o'clock our time in the East Coast, August 3rd. The NBA draft is July 29th. That's a Thursday. The Cavs do want to move up to get the first pick. They do want to select Cade Cunningham with their first pick. So the Cavaliers like they be drafting another guard again. Um, if the Cavaliers, if they got nice, I see if they on the right pace where they supposed to be, what they doing, maybe Kevin Love do come back and finish his contract out. He may be bought out, or he may come to negotiation to be off the team. There's a lot of things going on in this NBA. I feel like this is probably by far. I told one of my coworkers yesterday. This is by far one of the most interesting seasons in NBA playoffs I have seen thus far, especially to the NBA Finals. Who would have thought that the Phoenix Suns would have been here? We know if the Brooklyn Nets would have been healthy, they'd have been there. But when you only play 8 games together as a superstar in the continuity, you're not gonna get that far. Then too, what Brooklyn got exposed at was their bench. So going into the off season in the process, I believe that the Brooklyn Nets will probably upgrade their bench in much needed ways.
Mhm.
Anything you want to add, Marcus?
Yeah, they definitely. I think the Brooklyn Nets they really want to keep Blake Griffin. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility or not, but they want to keep Blake. Um, it looked like they're going to lose Spencer Dinwiddie. You know, you got to keep in mind they also traded Karis LeVert. So those guys were really like bonus guys to have on an already stacked team. So if they're going to lose Spencer Dinwiddie and Blake Griffin, they're going to, like you said, they're really going to have to shore up the bench, you know, to compete for a finals championship. And they can do, they don't really have too many options because all those guys don't get paid. You want to keep James Harden, you want to keep Kyrie. If you don't trade Kyrie, you got to pay him. Well, he's already paid. I may be saying that wrong. AD, that's a lot on the books. So you got to get those sneaky veterans who going to help you, get over the hump. The Richard Jeffersons, the Mike Millers. Thinking back to the Miami Heat days.
Right.
Those guys who are later in their career but still have, still can play ball, still can contribute to a championship. They're gonna have to find those gems if they're gonna compete in the finals next year, injuries or not.
This for our closing comments. I got one last thing, Marcus, to say. It's a rumor out there that Zion Williamson want to be traded for New Orleans.
I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of rumors about Zion that said he didn't like Stan Van Gundy.
Right. He preferred to play in New York though with RJ Barrett.
Oh yeah, that's his buddy. New York will go nuts, man. If he ended up on the Knicks, are you kidding with RJ Barrett? Like, and they don't get rid of RJ Barrett,
they would have to move Julius.
Julius would have to go. He'd end up back. Well, didn't he already play for the Pelicans? I'm sure he did. I think I'm right. He would end up back on the Pelicans. I think he did.
No, I think he did. He did play with Brandon Ingram. Yeah. He did get there traded for the 3-player trade. Him, Zoe, and Brandon Ingram.
Right.
So,
but that's not probably going to. The thing about New Yorkers is they remember, who got them out of the darkness. Like when Melo got there, they praised Melo, even though it was very short-lived. Julius Randle, he really got him out of the darkness this year. So the Knicks fans, they will be sad to see him go. But if they get Zion, man, Garden will be rocking every game next year.
Look, we already know New Yorkers and their sports. They love sports. They're fanatics. Marcus, can you imagine looking at the back page of that New York paper and they got rid of Julius Randle and they bring in Zion? They don't make the playoffs again for another 3, 4, 5 years. How that's going to look from a GM standpoint?
That'd be terrible. That'd be absolutely terrible.
I can hear all the New Yorkers be like, like that would be terrible to do that. And to make a move like that, like I said, that would hurt New York real bad. Because like you said, Marcus, they praised Melo when they got him out the ruts. Julius Randle's getting praised from out the ruts, got him out the ruts. Then you got the coach, and you then too might hurt. You may lose Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, he was a big part of that. He was a big part of their success this year. He even moved to the starting lineup during the playoffs. But the one thing you can lean on if you make that trade as a GM was Julius Randle didn't really play well in the playoffs when it kind of.
Wow.
So you always can lean on that. Like, yeah, he got us into the playoffs, but remember what happened when we got to the playoffs. You can always lean on that. But Zion he's not proven in that sense too, like because he hasn't made it.
That's head on. With those closing segments, people, hey, tune into the NBA final tonight. It's 9 o'clock
Sir.
Eastern. 9 o'clock Eastern time. 6 o'clock Central Pacific. This is After Hours Live for the Man Cave. This is your host Tay Wiggs.
Co-host Mark Senior.
We out of here.
Here. Peace.
Peace.